As we are at around the halfway point of the season, we have a general idea of which teams are going to place where, and with that we can see who is in contention to win respective league titles. The Premiership of course sees Hearts and Celtic fighting it out. The Championship is seeing a tussle between Partick Thistle and St Johnstone, while League 2 has a three-way fight between East Kilbride, Spartans and Clyde. But what if I told you there is a league with potentially 6 teams in a fight for top spot? That league is of course the Lowland League in what is the final season before a big change to the layout of Tier 5. We are seeing an almighty fight at the top end of the table, with there being 10 points between Clydebank in first and Caledonian Braves in 6th. But games in hand mean that if we are to give all these teams maximum points, it would be 3 points between Clydebank and Tranent in 5th, with Cali Braves only 7 points behind. So in this video I'm going to go through all 6 teams, who has the best shot, and why getting out of this division this season could prove to be crucial. Starting off in 6th place with 36 points from 20 games, we have Caledonian Braves. Cali Braves are probably one of the weirder clubs in Scottish football, having been initially formed as EduSport Academy in 2011, working as an academy for French players to experience British football and learn English. In Scotland. Make of that what you will. They joined the South of Scotland League in 2014 before earning promotion to the Lowland League in 2017. In 2018, Chris Ewing, the man behind the club, announced a new scheme to get people involved, an online membership scheme. The online membership scheme sees fans have a say in certain aspects of the club, and this came to a head in 2020 when it was decided to rebrand the club to Caledonian Braves. Since promotion to the Lowland League, Braves have been pretty consistently mid-table, but did manage to finish 3rd last season, although they were 14 points behind eventual winners East Kilbride. Braves have been in impressive form recently with a 3-0 win against Berwick, a 4-1 win against Clydebank, a 3-0 win against East Stirlingshire and a 5-1 win against Hearts B coming in their last 4 games, but their 2 games before that saw defeats to fellow title chasers Tranent and Bonnyrigg. Cali Braves are a club that divides opinion, with their online fan membership being an interesting way of raising money, but lack of actual fans at games gives some the impression that they aren't a proper football club and are the football equivalent of established titles, selling themselves as some sort of gimmick club to Americans who want to say they own a football club. This, alongside some of the wacky ambitions from Chris Ewing, has rubbed people the wrong way, with this video by the Touchback going into a bit more detail when it comes to how they run. Anyway, Braves are certainly the club that is on the periphery of a title challenge. They'll finish clear of the mid-table clubs, but likely have a gap to those above. Doesn't mean they can't upset the teams at the top low, as we have already seen this season. Up to 5th, and with 37 points from 19 games, we have Tranent. Tranent were founded back in 1911 as Tranent Juniors and managed to win the Junior Cup in 1935. Tranent were one of the many clubs to leave the Juniors to join the East of Scotland League in 2018, and in 2022 won the Premier Division and the resulting playoff to earn promotion to the Lowland League. Their first season saw them finish 5th, but following a merger involving Tranent Colts, a local youth club that Juniors had a long relationship with, they dropped Juniors from the name and are now just called Tranent. They would finish 5th again before moving up to 4th last season, finishing ahead of Linlithgow Rose on goal difference. Tranent are sitting 2 games behind due to their Scottish Cup shenanigans, with their tie against Inverness being called off 3 times before being moved to Haddington, which they would lose 2-1, which, considering how Inverness are doing this season, is nothing to be ashamed of. In the league, meanwhile, Tranent are unbeaten since losing to Civil Service Strollers at the end of September, winning all but 2 of their last 8, drawing against fellow title contenders Linlithgow, but also drawing with strugglers Gretna 2008. In 4th, meanwhile, with 38 points in 19 games, we have Linlithgow Rose. Linlithgow Rose were founded in 1896 and have been one of the top non-league sides from the East this century, with 3 of their 4 Junior Cup wins coming in the last 20 years, with the only team having a better success rate being Auchinleck Talbot. Linlithgow were part of the East Juniors Exodus in 2018 and in 2023 earned promotion to the Lowland League after winning the East of Scotland Premiership, in a season that saw them reach the 4th round of the Scottish Cup before being knocked out by Raith Rovers. Their first season in the league saw them finish 8th, while last season they managed to finish 5th, while also reaching the 3rd round of the Scottish Cup, being knocked out by Raith Rovers. This season, meanwhile, saw them reach the 3rd round of the Scottish Cup again before being knocked out by Queen's Park at home despite taking the lead. Their league form, however, hasn't been great. After an opening day defeat at home to Caledonian Rovers, the Rose went on a 10-game winning run to see them rocket up the table. Since then, however, they've only won 2 of their last 8, beating Albion Rovers and recently Cumbernauld Colts, with draws against Clydebank and Tranent coming between defeats to Berwick, Heartsby, Stirling Uni and Bonnyrigg Rose. Hopefully they can turn their form around, as Linlithgow have one of the bigger fan bases in the league and an incredible pub crawl between the station and the ground, so it would be a great addition to the SPFL. In third place with 40 points from 20 games, we have Broxburn Athletic. Broxburn were founded in 1947 and reached 5 Junior Cup semi-finals in the next 25 years, although never made it to a final. Another contingent of the 2018 Exodus, the Badgers won promotion to the Lowland League in 2024 after winning the East of Scotland Premier Division and the following playoff against Dalbeattie Star. Having got an SFA licence back in 2019, Broxburn would make it to the 4th round of the Scottish Cup before being knocked out by St Mirren in their inaugural campaign in the competition. Their first season in the Lowland League saw them finish 7th, where they once again made the 4th round of the Scottish Cup, being defeated by Championship side Ayr United. This season, however, they were only able to make it to the first round, getting knocked out by fellow Lowland League challengers Bonnyrigg Rose, but in the league, things have been going a bit better. Having lost 3 of their first 4 games, they've only lost 3 of their last 16, with 11 of those being wins, with the most recent result being a bumping 5-0 win away at Bonnyrigg Rangers. Broxburn is another club that I have visited, having been at their ground for the East of Scotland League Cup final between Musselburgh Athletic and Caledonian Braves, which unfortunately Musselburgh won. But aside from the result, it's a decent wee stadium they have, so they would be an interesting day out for SPFL sides. Sitting second then with 42 points from 20 games is Bonnyrigg Rose. Recently relegated from League 2 last season, Bonnyrigg became the first team to be promoted and then relegated between Tier 5 and League 2. Bonnyrigg were promoted to the Lowland League in 2019 and ended up winning the league in 2022, where they would end up beating Highland League champions Fraserburgh and then League 2 Cowden Beef to earn promotion to the SPFL for the first time. Their first 2 seasons would see back-to-back 8th place finishes, where they were at the bottom end for much of the season, but 24-25 would see them finish bottom thanks to a 6 points deduction due to the state of their pitch. They would end up facing East Kilbride in the playoffs, who on their third attempt would finally earn promotion to the SPFL. Over the summer though, Bonnyrigg have installed an artificial pitch, so they shouldn't have any issues with their pitch anytime soon. This season meanwhile, Bonnyrigg started off with a mixed opening 10 games, winning 4, losing 4 and drawing 2, but since their last defeat to Bonnyrigg Rangers, they drew with Bowness United and have since won their last 9 games, their most recent being a 3-2 win against Cowden Beef. But in that run, they have defeated Linlithgow, Broxburn, Caledonian Braves and Clydebank, so are definitely the informed team at the moment. And finally, in first place, with 46 points from 21 games, we have Clydebank. I recently covered the history of Clydebank in a separate video, but to stick to recent history, the club were reformed by fans in 2003 following their purchase and relocation to Airdrie, starting off at the bottom of the West Junior Pyramid. They eventually worked their way up the leagues, and in 2020, the West Juniors formed the West of Scotland League, giving clubs the chance to progress into the Lowland League. Clydebank won the West of Scotland League last season and managed to beat East of Scotland League champions Musselburgh Athletic to earn their place in Tier 5, one step closer to a return to the Football League. This season has seen them start brilliantly, going unbeaten for their first 13 matches, winning 9 before defeat away to Bonnyrigg Rose. Since that loss to Bonnyrigg, they have played 7 games, winning 4, but lost to both Broxburn and Caledonian Braves, along with a draw against Linlithgow, helping to close the gap between them and the rest. So how do I see this going? Well, I think it will be between 3 teams. Clydebank have been the most consistent, but I've seen a slight wobble in recent weeks. Bonnyrigg, having just come down from League 2, have been on the best for their form, and finally Linlithgow Rose, who, whilst having dropped off a bit recently, have shown they do have the quality to challenge for this title. And also because I predicted them to win the league. But why is this season so important in comparison to previous seasons? Well, this season is the final season of the Lowland League as we know it, with a new Lowland League East and a Lowland League West being created. This means that promotion now goes from a 1 in 3 chance to a 1 in 4 chance, and the leagues will arguably be getting much stronger. There is no relegation this season, which is definitely saving East Stirlingshire for now, But the following season will see teams such as Auchinleck Talbot, Troon, Cumnock and Johnston-Borough come in from the west, with Musselburgh, Camelon and Hillabeef Hawthorns coming in from the east. This added competition will only strengthen the respective leagues, but the issue remains with the lack of promotion once again. Despite a new league being added, they are still not making that 10th place spot in League 2 an automatic relegation spot, making the bottleneck that is the promotion playoffs even more restrictive. This isn't even including the threat of Highland League teams who are also having their own mass brawl of a title fight. Brecon and Formartine have 39 points from 18 games, Clacknacuddin are on 38 points from 18 games, Fraserburgh have 37 points from 19 games, while Brora are sitting on 36 points from 16 games. With all of this going on, you could arguably make a league free of clubs that are knocking on the door of the SPFL, and are arguably better than some teams that are sitting in League 2 right now. If anything needs reforming, it is not Tier 5, but the tiers above. Finishing bottom of a league should see you relegated, but the chance of this being voted through remains slim, although, as more clubs work their way in, the attitude has seemingly changed. This is something we have already seen as clubs that have worked their way up to the Lowland League from the juniors have typically been more in favour of sporting merit, with them voting against B teams and being in favour of improving the pathways between divisions. Hopefully, as these teams progress, we can see some changes that lead to a fairer pyramid. That's all for this video, and of course, I hope you enjoyed. Who do you think will win the Lowland League? Who do you think will win the Highland League? Let us know in the comments below. Seeing as we're coming up to Christmas, I'm going to make the next video a Q&A, same as what happened last year. I'll make a separate post for it, so save your questions for that. Anyway, channel memberships are available in the link below. Those who have already signed up have their names on screen. Liking, sharing, subscribing are all appreciated, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.